Greetings all. The time is 4:33. Thank you for your patience as we reconvene after a quorum effort yesterday. Today is Wednesday, December 3rd, 2025. We did not have closed session today. We'll likely reconvene that later next week. Now it's time for the open session, beginning officially at 4:33. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Keldorf.
Here.
Councilmember Giroux.
Here.
Councilmember Boyles is absent this evening. Mayor Pro Tem Baldino.
Here.
And Mayor Pimentel.
Here. Rabbi Lisbon, where are you? Oh, there you are. Would you lead us in the invocation, and I will lead the Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise.
Good afternoon, Honorable Mayor, members of the City Council, town officials, and good evening to all. May God Almighty bestow upon the leaders of this great town the wisdom and understanding to continue in the path of justice and goodness. Bless these individuals elected by the people in whom faith and confidence have been placed to legislate laws, making decisions that will affect the lives of their citizens. Let them recognize that this is not only a great honor and civic responsibility, but a holy endeavor as well. Shortly, we will be celebrating the joyous holiday of Hanukkah, also known as the Festival of Lights, celebrating the Maccabees' success in their quest for the freedom to live according to their values. They were rewarded with the miracle of the small cruse of oil lasting 8 days, teaching us that even a small amount of light can dispel a great deal of darkness. Each act of goodness and kindness we perform adds another candle to the world's menorah. We place the menorah by the window or outdoors to advertise the miracle, showing that our light isn't just for ourselves, but is meant to illuminate the outside world. What is true of the individual is true of a nation, especially this great United States, united under God and generously blessed by God with material and spiritual riches. Let us pray, may the lights of the menorah inspire us all to bring more light, warmth, and hope into our community and the world around us. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru. Amen. He who makes peace on high, may he bring peace upon us and upon all humanity. Let's all say together, amen. Of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with justice for all.
All right, thank you, Rabbi Lisbon. We'll start out tonight. We have 3 special presentations. First, and we've been waiting a full year for this, Councilmember Keldorf, you will lead us off with a Candy Cane Lane proclamation. We will test her on the number of names she gets correct and how many times she breathes.
I love it. Nobody's here to talk about this tonight, right? But before that, a proclamation from the city of El Segundo, California, whereas great and wonderful events are many times the inspiration of one person, like Ken Bailey, whose simple idea that a decorated tree be placed at the end of the cul-de-sac on the 1200 block of East Acacia Avenue in celebration of a neighborhood Christmas in 1949 is 76 years later an annual holiday tradition in El Segundo, worthy of national media coverage and known as Candy Cane Lane. And whereas Candy Cane Lane features Santa Claus arriving on top of a horn-blowing El Segundo fire engine to light the beautifully decorated homes on Candy Cane Lane as he makes his way into a sleigh in a Christmas village situated at the end of the cul-de-sac, from which he sends good cheer each year to thousands of boys and girls, residents and tourists. And whereas homes, yards, and trees are brightly decorated while property owners dress up their homes for all the oohs and ahs and the tradition of Candy Cane Lane, a few good merry men of Candy Cane Lane have given their merry ho-ho-hos year after year in the Santa suit donated by Chevron. A big thanks to spring cleaners for generously making sure Santa's suit is sparkling for the season. The El Segundo Police Department, the El Segundo Volunteer Program, and the El Segundo Recreation Parks and Library Department, who make sure the crowds maneuver down the lane in a safe and orderly fashion. And whereas least we forget, we're here and list the names of the folks that are synonymous with Candy Cane Lane. Ayers, Cohen, Stocks, Esden and Sella, McEwen, Lees, Moores, Turnbulls, McCulloughs, DeLamberte, Guidon, Laughlin, and Barr, Mitchells, Gons, Hudspeth, Harts, Dukakis, Brunnenkamps, Phillips, Stoser and Setzo, Rogers, Kales, Wongs, Schlendering, Wisimakowski, Armacost, and Hoggs. Now, therefore, on this 3rd day of December 2025, the mayor and the members of the City Council of the City of El Segundo proclaim the 1200 block of East Acacia Avenue as Candy Cane Lane from December 13th, 2025 at 7 p.m. through December 23rd, 2025, and invite the young and young at heart to experience the wonders of this El Segundo holiday tradition. And here to accept the Candy Cane Lane proclamation is Jennifer Turnbull.
Yeah, it was like a sonnet. It said iambic pentameter in there.
I mean, it's the holiday season.
Well done.
I could have run through the names before. Oh, I have to give her the proclamation. Hi. Hi.
I'll speak later. Thank you.
Fair enough.
Thanks.
Thank you, Councilmember Keldorf. That is 8 breaths. Former Councilman Nichol is the last one to get through without taking a breath. All right,
Never to be seen from
61st Annual Holiday Parade. Thank you very much. Over to you, Councilmember Drew.
All right, whereas the El Segundo Chamber of Commerce has given El Segundo the annual holiday parade for the past 61 years, a tradition which both celebrates El Segundo and calls forth the holiday season. And whereas the parade to be held Sunday, December 14th, 2025, from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m., with a theme of Santa's Workshop, will assemble on the corner of Imperial Avenue and Main Street and continue down Main Street, disbanding at El Segundo Boulevard. And whereas the parade will kick off with the El Segundo High School Eagle Pride Marching Band and Color Guard, end with the traditional grand finale, the Chevron Fire Truck, bringing Santa Claus through downtown El Segundo, and in between, the crowds will be treated to a few surprises. Now, therefore, the mayor and the members of the City Council of the City of El Segundo, California, do hereby proclaim Sunday, December 14th, 2025, as the 61st Annual El Segundo Holiday Parade, and invite the community to all the traditional El Segundo holiday events, and wish the Chamber of Commerce many more years of marching down Main Street. And accepting this proclamation will be Marcia Hanson of the El Segundo Chamber of Commerce.
Can I say a few words?
Please.
Oh, fabulous. Good evening, Mayor Pimentel, members of the City Council. On behalf of the Chamber, we want to thank the city for this long time, 61-year partnership in bringing this special event to El Segundo. This year, we're going to give a shout out to Mattel and all the new toy companies moving in, because we are really now Santa's Workshop Gundo branch, maybe Southwest, we don't know. The Chamber truly enjoys putting on this event every year. We want to thank Chevron. They're so great about partnering with us, providing so much of the resources we need. And I know everyone is now moving stuff around on the refrigerators to make room for that new clip, right? It's exciting. It's so exciting. We have lots of horses and kids and cars and all kinds of good stuff this year. If someone listening to this has not filled out their application to be in the parade yet, we want to have you in there. So head to elsegundochamber.com, fill that application out, and send it over. I will make sure you're in the parade. The more, the merrier. And as you know, Santa's going to be coming this way, so we want to show them what a fabulous community we have. So thank you all for your long partnership, and we look forward to a wonderful day on December 14th. Thank you.
Thank you, Marcia.
You know, because we take Rotarians in, sure. Say Rotary.
All right, couple for me here. Here we go, and one, and one more. Thank you so much.
Mayor Pro Tem, the Christmas dinner commendation, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Whereas the El Segundo Community Christmas Dinner was conceived by El Segundo resident Bill Kaufman in 1983. Bill solicited the help of local businesses, residents, and organizations to fund, cook, and serve a traditional Christmas dinner that brought people together to share the holiday spirit. And whereas the El Segundo Community Christmas Dinner has become a hometown tradition that has served the community for over 41 years. And whereas the annual Christmas dinner will be provided this season, sponsored by the El Segundo Rotary Club, along with time and effort of many individual volunteers, along with the Sport of Recreation Parks and Library Department's Outreach Office. And whereas the El Segundo Community Christmas Dinner will be held at 12 p.m. on December 24th at the Jocelyn Center for the benefit of all those in the community who wish to participate in fellowship and share in some Christmas cheer. Now, therefore, on this third day of December 2025, the mayor and the members of the City Council of the City of El Segundo, California, do hereby commend and thank all sponsors, supporters, and volunteers for their unselfish community service in keeping this hometown holiday tradition alive in El Segundo. And accepting this, we have our own Ryan Delgado from Recreation and Parks and Library.
Good evening, Council, and just some details on the event. It's going to be, like you said, on December 24th at noon at the Jocelyn Center. It is open to all families in need, not just our seniors. We have a cutoff on December 18th, so people can call us at the Jocelyn Center at 310-524-2705, and we can deliver meals, and we will also have them in the building. And then I also want to bring up Julie Stolnak, Gilda, and Margie to thank them from the Rotary Committee. We appreciate all you do, and our residents are going to very much appreciate a nice hot Christmas dinner.
I wanted to, again, invite the community to come out for those that maybe don't have family or friends or someone to celebrate the holiday with. And who knows, you may even see our Mayor Pro Tem singing this year at the thing. He was there last year. And maybe we can coax him into singing or maybe some dancing or something. And we do have some fun trivia games with some prizes. So please come out and join us. Thank you.
Thank you. I did attend last year, and I just want to thank Rotary for all the work you do. It's a fantastic event. The trivia was great. There was no singing. But show up this year. There might be. Can we get a picture?
Here we go. Couple more here for me. And one more. Thank you so much.
All right, see you guys next week. We're about to start public comment. Madam Clerk, how many do we have?
We have 15 this evening, Mr. Mayor.
15, so 2 minutes each. I assume they're all on an agendized item.
16. I believe all but one. Yes, sir.
Let's try for 2 minutes, and if someone gracefully cuts theirs to 90 seconds,
Sure.
we will be ahead of the curve.
All righty.
Before we start, just remember, Candy Cane Lane is something that particular stretch of vacation decided to do as a gift to the world for Christmas cheer and with all those motivations. This is not, nor has it been, a city-planned event. At no time in the history of El Segundo did 5 people get up here and decide, let's put 10,000 people in a cul-de-sac. Right? We got involved a few years ago because there were issues with safety, cars going through and little kids almost getting run over. There was trash, and there were issues attendant to the event that we wanted to participate and be helpful with. And our city attorney, who's probably deep inside chuckling, and his Nostradamus-like form was like, you guys are really going to regret this, because you will make everybody mad, and we'll still be liable. So with that in mind, I know we're going to get a lot of comments. Everyone here is trying to help. Okay? Who do we got first?
Well, first we have, with the mayor's indulgence, may I say a little message? Thank you.
It depends. No, go ahead. You're an elected official, too. I can't stop you.
The clerk's office would like to thank everyone who takes the time to send letters to the city about municipal concerns. We've received many messages regarding Candy Cane Lane, some of which included requests that they be read into the record. By law, all correspondence sent to council members regarding an item on the agenda becomes part of the official public record. These letters are available for viewing at elsegundo.org, and printed copies can be found in the red binder out in the lobby during council meetings and in the clerk's office during regular business hours. With that, I would like to invite Ron Swanson to come and address us.
There we go. Yeah, the cleanup hitter goes first. Otani, swing away.
Mayor Pro Tem, Council, thank you for allowing me to speak. Three things. Recently attended the State of the City, outstanding event. I want to thank everybody involved with that. It's one I hadn't been to in a long time. You did get my emails, but it was a great event. Second, I want to thank not only council, all the employees, because it is employment for them, for what they do, what you do for this city. All the commissions, and there's not a lot of thank yous. I say thank you. Kenny Kane Lane, it's going to be real easy. I think you need to throw some assets at it this year. Put some more Parks and Rec out there. Put some more PD out there. Come back after the first of the year and look at the event in its entirety and move on from there and try to plan it where there's some sanity to what goes on there. Because, I mean, right now I hear that the 1100 block is going to be open on Acacia. That is a huge mistake. I know residents want it open, but the amount of people in that intersection down at California and Acacia, I mean, they're parking down. Last year I came home from dinner and somebody was halfway in my driveway and I'm down at California and Elm. And I got by it, but trash, everything that they do around there. And it's a great event, but Michelle, you said really well, national exposure with social media exploding and then the movie. Kind of created your own problem with that one because you granted the permit to film the movie, which is good for El Segundo, but it's a problem. It's a liability to us now. And I just hope that you can throw some more assets at it. Both, like I said, Parks and Rec, PD, volunteers, whatever we can do. I'll volunteer to help too if you want me to. And I'll get some friends, whatever it takes. But you have to be able to close. Can't have California go past Walnut. Just can't. So, and then come back next year and try to do a plan that will work forever. I got it.
Thank you, Mr. Swanson.
Doing my job, sir.
And everybody have a great holiday, okay?
Michael Paolillo?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem and Council for letting me speak. Just to get to the point, and thank you for speaking, the gentleman before me speaking. Just to be clear, the residents on 1100 block don't necessarily want Candy Cane Lane to be open on our block. We want access to our homes. That's really what it is. Going from one extreme of not being able to access your driveway or your home, coming home from work at 4:30, or coming home from the market, or picking your child up from school, or having a small child or elderly parent, not being able to park on your street is just a non-starter. It is just a miserable experience for us every year, and it's getting worse and worse. I think going to the other extreme, and I appreciate Park and Rec's effort in this and the police department's effort, going to the other extreme of opening it up, I agree. That's a nightmare in itself. About 8 or 9 years ago, I spoke in this room about having some more police presence down there because it was so dangerous. I think what we've had the last 8 or 9 years has worked really well. We're escorted onto the street. We have access to our driveways. We're not trapped in our homes. The crowds down there are just too big. The event has gotten too big. I understand how much joy it brings to the rest of the city and the community, and I completely appreciate that. But for the people that aren't a part of Candy Cane Lane, that live in the 1100 block, it's become a nightmare. Trash, people going to the bathroom in your yards, dirty diapers. I can go on and on. It's just not fun anymore. And we just want to be able to come home, have people visit us, be able to go to the store, pick our children up, and have access to our own homes. That's really what it comes down to. Being dropped off 3 blocks down the street at night, at 10 o'clock at night, and not having any parking guaranteed, it's just a non-starter. My child is not going to walk 3 blocks in the dark to go to her own house. And I just don't see how that's legal to even stop us from accessing our homes. So thank you for listening to me. I appreciate it.
Thanks,
Thank
sir.
you, Council.
Julie Stolnak?
Hi, everybody. I'm here tonight to speak about the recent removal of the holiday decorations placed on city signposts around the city by residents. Is this in response to somebody complaining about these decorations, or someone in the city just deciding they need to be removed? Most of these decorated signposts are done by a couple of young boys who were earning money to go to outdoor science school. Not only do they do the decorating, but they come back after the holidays and remove it all as well and clean up. I am assuming your validation for removing is falling under Municipal Code 7-7-6, locations where prohibited, which states it is unlawful within the city for any person to post, print, stick, stamp, tack, or otherwise affix or cause the same to be done by any other person, any handbill, notice, placard, bill, card, poster, sticker, banner, tin sign, advertisement, or other calculated to attract the attention of the public to or upon any public sidewalk, crosswalk, city tree, curb, curbstone, lamp post, hydrant, street sign, post, tree, goes on and on. And it's, if you read the code, it's pretty much is talking about things with words on it, some type of signage or advertisement. And what has been removed does not fall in this category. With these signpost decorations, there is no signage, wording, or advertisement being done. It is purely for decorative purposes. In my opinion, the city is going too far and really slowly eating away the little things that make this city and what it is and make it special, the place we call home. It is truly disappointing that this has been done, and for what reason? Come on, our city employees have more important things to do around here, like graffiti removal in the parks or removing business advertising signs from city property that have been there for months, or numerous other
Ms.
things.
Stolnak, you are at time.
Okay,
And
thank
I'll be
you.
honest, didn't see that one coming. I didn't see that one coming. Didn't. Threw me a curveball. Yeah. I mean, I think you will get a response on that one. Like, we don't have to take time doing this. Who's next?
Douglas Furworth? Forgive me if I mispronounced.
Hello, I'm Doug Furworth, and I live at 1133 East Acacia. I'm on the north side of Acacia, right on the corner of California and that. And we've lived there for 40 years. So, and we've always decorated our house, and of course we put figurines on the lawn and everything like that. And it sounded different this year because every other year, my wife has to take care of her mother who's 91 in Hawthorne. And they're saying we're going to be locked down in our house from 4:30 to 10 every night. And she can't make it back some days at 4:30 or anything like that. And every other year, they always had a barricade at Walnut in California. And we would come there, she would, and then the guard would just escort her 2 houses down. Because our, another thing is that it's a cul-de-sac. We now have a block wall covering between the Embassy Suites and our house, and my garage driveway happens to be on California. All the other houses, the driveways are in the alley, so we can't get to our garage. And so the reason I'm here is just trying to find out, are we still going to be able to, my wife, to be able to get in, and also in case she has an emergency, she needs to be able to get out if her mother, something would happen. And so that's my main concern.
Thank you, sir.
Sarwan Sudwal, please. Pass? Okay, thank you. Okay.
Noted.
Jennifer Peebles.
Hi, everybody. I'm not a public speaker, so I just want to start with that. Please forgive me. I'm speaking on behalf of my mother and I. We are residents of the 1100 block. We are also on the north side, towards the middle. And we're concerned about the parking situation. So I get off and I don't have a way to get to my home after school and everything. And my mom's concerned about it being dark, not finding parking for 6 or 7 blocks. That's an issue that we were kind of concerned on. There was a note about permits. There is no clarification on that. I've emailed, so I just have some questions. That the north side would not be getting access to permits is what we read. We don't have driveways on that side, so we don't have that parking. And most people that I know do not have garage space for cars because of clutter. So, yeah, that was one of our concerns. It was clarified about the dates because the note did say the 24th. So we're glad that that's not an issue anymore because we have family that comes on the 24th as well. So just parking and access to our street. We just want to be able to come home and not be locked down, go get groceries, go to dinner, and be able to come home safely. So thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Linda Troxel.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I have the same concern that the woman from the Rotary Club had. I've been a resident and a homeowner here for the past 35 years, and I have gladdened the hearts of our neighbors and our community by decorating the 4 stop signs on the corner of Sheldon and Mariposa. And I spent money and time and energy, my daughter, our grandkids, they all help out. I can tell you how horrified I felt when I came home and they were ripped down, thrown in the trash, and gone. No explanation, no letter, no I'm sorry, nothing in the El Segundo Herald. And then I come over here, there's about 10 stop signs and decorations that are still up. Am I being targeted? I want to know who sent the order, why it was sent, and who's going to reimburse me. Please.
Thank you, Ms. Troxel.
So you don't know who sent the order, Mayor?
I know nothing about street sign decorating. Not my area of
So
expertise, but we will find out at the end. We will respond to council comment or respond to public comment.
Thank you.
Genesis Rodriguez from the LA County Sanitation District.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for allowing me to speak. Different subject. My name is Genesis.
That's all right. I know about this one, so go ahead.
Yeah, you do, because you sit on our board. Again, Genesis Rodriguez, Public Affairs Specialist with the LA County Sanitation Districts. We're basically here in an effort to do more community outreach, city council outreach. We're the people that manage your wastewater. So every time you flush your toilet, it comes to a treatment plant. In this case, it goes to our largest treatment plant in the city of Carson. So we are not Hyperion, that is city of LA. Important to make that distinction.
I'm going to cut in for you for the people at home. Everybody east of PCH goes to LA County San,
Yes.
Hyperion west of PCH.
Yes, thank you. So we treat your sewage for 5.5 million people, 78 cities, including part of El Segundo. And we just wanted to come out here and say if there are any teachers out there, any neighborhood watch groups. I know the Rotary Club is here. We'd be more than happy to make a presentation at one of our community meetings, community events, so that you can learn more about how it is that we treat your wastewater, how it is that we recycle your wastewater, and the communities, the services, right, that we offer, right, that you pay for through your taxes. And with that, thank you so much. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Genesis.
Bob Turnbull.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, City Council. Bob Turnbull, resident 1200 Block East Acacia. Was a city employee since 1989. And I just want to clarify one thing. The city's been engaged in this event since I've lived here. And I've been here 28 years with special event permits, a lot of different things. And so we're appreciative of that. You've got my letters. My concern is that the police department, and I'm not going to sit here and point fingers, but what has happened over the past, I'd say 8 to 9 years, is it's shifted from the police department taking the lead on this special event to Parks and Rec. and Parks and Rec does a great job, but what happens when you have a movie in 2023 and you have the internet that launched this thing beyond what we could imagine back in 1997 when I first moved there, you have folks that come from out of town that don't have the same values that our citizens have in this town. And I feel for the residents that live all the way from Mariposa to Imperial that are impacted by this event for the community. But because there's been lack of resources applied to it, shifted to private security that has very little authority, it's a soft target, if you know what I mean, for an event where people can come in and do something bad. And if we don't have the level of authority to take action for the outside sales, the people that just don't behave, that's the problem. And the city has not kept up with the events that have occurred over the past several years, and 8, 9, 10 years. I just ask that you consider putting either more funding, whether in hard closures, so you don't have safety, traffic safety and pedestrian safety concerns. That's the liability. You will pay more in an incident that results in a traffic accident with a pedestrian than you will, and you'll have a better return on investment taking care of the special event up front.
Thank you, Mr. Turnbull.
Jennifer Turnbull.
Good afternoon. I'm kind of going to piggyback on my husband. I have met several times. I've been doing Candy Cane Lane for about 15 years with Mayor Boyles, and I am running into a problem, as you can tell, with half of this room filled with Candy Cane Lane issues and complaints, that I have come and begged for help. I am thankful for Ally. I am thankful for Sean Green. I am thankful for what you guys have done, but it's exceeded even their expectations. I can have one mayor sit with me and tell me, absolutely, this needs to be done. I need you all to be on the same page, and when you leave your council membership, I need the next council to be on it, because this is why we're here, because things get dropped and slid. I also would like there to be protection on the 24th and 25th of December. We had a big fight, physical fight in front of our home on the 25th. ESPD could not get there. They could not get there. It was 7 minutes of a fist fight from my residents to the corner. We need a plan of security and a plan of action as to what we can do to keep the residents safe and those that come from the outside, because these definitely were outsiders. As far as selling, my hands are tossed. The trash has got to be eliminated if we can get maybe even excess trash pickup, because it doesn't just happen on the 1200 or 1100 block. It's taking further on past Lomita, past Mariposa. So if we can get extra help, I don't know how that is, but we need to figure it out. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Turnbull.
Marlene Oakley.
Oh, goodness.
Then take all the time you want.
Well, well, in that case. Good afternoon, council members. My name is Marlene Oakley, and I reside at 602 Sierra Street, which is the corner of Mariposa and Sierra. My family's been in this town since 1957, and even back then we were decorating for the holidays, I hear. We have always loved our Mayberry, the charm, the nostalgia, and the whimsy. And for the last 39 years, we've decorated the street poles outside our home, as well as our direct neighbors. Our neighbors have loved it and thanked us each year. It's the community spirit that makes our town special. Yesterday, I was leaving the front door, ran into a city truck with two traffic division workers, and they had been instructed to dismantle and throw away all the garland that they saw on their patrolling. Their words, not mine. They were both very nice. I will say that I don't blame them for what they were doing. They were just doing what they were instructed to do. However, I'm completely dumbfounded as to what's changed this year. I was told that it was unlawful to have this garland up and that it would cause a distraction to drivers. I've spoken to several other community members who are upset about this. There's no police code to make this unlawful, and the only city code that I can find that specifies this signage cannot be impeded or covered in any way, shape, or form, basically. None of this encroaches on the signage, it's strictly on the poles. Therefore, you'd figure there's no violation. Community members spend not only time and energy, but the cost of this garland has become more expensive. To have this dismantled and thrown away without any type of warning is both extremely sad and wasteful. I realize that the council members cannot comment on this during community or public comment, so I'm asking that this topic be agendized and added to the December 16th agenda so that it can be further researched and discussed.
Ma'am, you are at time.
In the interim, can there be a stay of the execution of this
I
garland?
think in the city manager comments after this, we can address that pretty succinctly.
Thank you. Happy holidays.
Isla McCullough, please.
Good evening, city councilors, members, and staff. My name is Isla McCullough. I'm a junior at El Segundo High School, and I live on Candy Cane Lane. I'm here tonight to speak in support of Candy Cane Lane Cocoa and a Mayberry Christmas. For the past 5 years, a small group of my friends and I have sold cocoa and popcorn from my driveway on Candy Cane Lane to raise money for local families and charities, including a Mayberry Christmas. We have always followed the rules and secured the proper sales permits and operated responsibly. Through this experience, we've learned so much about running a business, an organization, and teamwork. But most importantly, we've learned what it means to give back to a community, and we feel incredibly lucky to be part of it. A couple years ago, we partnered with the incredibly generous Michael Early to continue a long-standing tradition of a Mayberry Christmas and formed a 501c3 to formalize the charity. Mayberry Christmas is a lot of work, but it's meaningful work. As this year, we've fulfilled a Christmas wish list of 15 families of El Segundo who otherwise wouldn't be able to. Candy Lane Cocoa is the primary fundraiser of what makes this possible, and based on this year's data, it provides a meaningful impact and reliable donation to Mayberry Christmas. I hear and understand the concerns with my neighbors, and I have more willingly to compromise, whether it means to change the line queuing, trash management, and other modifications to help. In addition, we are properly selling and only half nights and 5 nights in total. By shutting us down completely, especially without including any of the months-long conversations before this decision, feels incredibly unfair. The very short and very late notice about these changes have been devastating to us, and more importantly, will be devastating to the families who rely on a Mayberry Christmas. And if we lose this year's this year's fundraising opportunity, the families will serve with an impact at most. I fully support revising the rules for next year, and I will gladly participate in those discussions if we're given the chance. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. McCullough.
Ed Quinn.
Mayor Pro Temp, City Council, hi Ally. I was here a couple of weeks ago. I don't think I need to regale you with all of the mayhem. I'm representing the 1,000 block of Acacia. We're the first block that isn't being blocked off. We were hoping to maybe get like a Meridian or any way blocking off Acacia at Center and maybe some traffic control. I'm glad someone else was here to talk about the violence that's been kind of breaking out, the fights, not to mention the defecation and the urination and the trash. There was also the city has been so great, and Ally, in that first meeting, they had a map to show us about the vendors. This is the reason I was here again, is that the kids, bring the kids to our street. They can sell all the popcorn and the hot chocolate they want. We would welcome that. It's the commercial vendors that now have, there's a halo around this, and it happens to be right in the middle of the 1,000 block. So in addition to all the parking issues and all the people sort of walking and blocking all the street, because everybody just walks down the street, we're now gonna have all the vendors, which they're either gonna set up on the sidewalks, so that's gonna push everybody to the street, or they're gonna be in the street and everybody's gonna be, sort of around them. And it's at a point right now where I think the captain said it best. I mean, we're kind of a soft target. I thought there was going to be a gunfight in front of my house last year, and if there's something, I'm just here for 1,000 block. And by the way, the one thing I was also recommending, if you block off our street, make it permit parking. Most of us don't need it, and you could give it the 1,100 block. It might, we would welcome them so they wouldn't have to walk like 2 or 3 blocks coming home late from work. If there's some way we can work with, the rest of the neighborhood, it'd be great. But yeah, so that was the one thing, is that we also are going to have the vendors all now on the 1,000 block, in addition to everybody trying to park. So it's kind of a mess. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Mr. Quinn.
Greg Bozier.
Yeah, Greg Boger. Hi, Mayor. Hi, City Council members. I echo Ed's sentiments. We are at the corner of Center and Walnut, so we would also be in favor of blocking off that side of Center Street. It's just become a nightmare for us. It's become a nightmare for us. I have a letter I'd like to read. I'm speaking on behalf of several neighbors that surround the entrance of Candy Cane Lane near East Acacia. The weeks that encompass Candy Cane Lane are a nuisance and a headache for us all. What started as a great gesture to the El Segundo community has essentially turned into a massive free tourist attraction for all of LA that none of us signed up for. There's a limitless amount of crowds and parked cars in our area over this period. Further, the traffic getting into and out of Candy Cane Lane is unavoidable and relentless. We're unable to leave our house after sundown during this time, as it is too difficult to return, even if we park in our driveway. Additionally, the trash that accumulates at night is deflating to encounter in the morning. We spend 10 to 15 minutes each morning picking up trash around our area. We do this so our elderly neighbors do not have to. The trash includes dog feces, human feces, baby diapers, beer bottles, hard liquor bottles, entire takeout containers, and as you can imagine, a lot more. Speaking on behalf of several of my elderly neighbors in the area, they've indicated that they suffer severe anxiety during the Candy Cane Lane period. They refuse to leave their house at night due to the amount of crowds and the traffic that are unavoidable during this time. They do not feel like our neighborhood is their own during this time. I understand that many people in El Segundo are vocally in favor of Candy Cane Lane. However, that situation has become untenable, and something must change. Last year, a fight broke out, and we're all very fortunate the situation was not worse than it was. I think we can all understand that when a crowd of that size gathers, a potential for tragedy exists. We should try to reduce the amount of crowds any way we can. We would be in favor of blocking off our block, Walnut Avenue west of Center, and Acacia west of Center. We would also be in favor of blocking off Center Street and rerouting parking to another location in El Segundo. Additionally, we would be in favor of turning Candy Cane Lane into a drive-through experience. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Dan Obeji.
Thank you. So my family is new to the 1100 block of East Acacia. Last year was our first Candy Cane Lane, and we loved it. We would love it if it was the same as last year, and I think all of our neighbors feel the same way. We're very concerned about the new extremely restrictive policy being discussed that prohibits all vehicular access, and nobody will tell us why there's a policy change. I've asked the city attorney. He said he won't discuss it. The Parks and Rec department said to ask the city attorney. The city attorney said go to the city council meeting and talk to the city council about it, which is why we're here now. And so without any understanding of why there's a heightened risk and need for new policy, it's tough to discuss what is a reasonable new policy. So what we would like is another year of the status quo, and at the beginning of next year, with plenty of time, a disclosure of what the actual problem is, reasonable discovery regarding possible solutions, and the impact of each of those solutions on the neighborhood and the community, and then reasonable notice and accommodations before a new policy is implemented. The neighborhood has floated a bunch of ideas like making it like a local permit parking for the whole neighborhood, so that people that don't live in the neighborhood have to park somewhere else and take shuttles in. There's a lot of different options. With 10 days to go, it's not reasonable to evaluate the costs and benefits of all of those solutions and then pick a policy and then implement it and disclose it to a lot of the neighbors who have no idea any of this is even happening. We have elderly people, people with very small kids, people with special needs. 10 days or less notice is totally unreasonable. So we request the status quo.
Mr.
for one
Obeji,
more
your
year.
time. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Scott Jurczyk. Scott somebody?
Anyone named Scott?
Anyone named Scott?
I'm Scott. We've got a Scott.
I'm sorry.
There we go.
I'll send you back to the drawing board.
I was waiting to see if anyone claimed it.
Good
You worded the
evening, everyone.
proclamation, so we didn't have to try and say it.
I'm a resident on the 1100 block. I'm on the south side. I enjoy Candy Cane Lane. I can't foresee there not being any blockage, though. I think it would be a complete disaster. I sit out there like every night with the family. And just to imagine all the cars right there on California and Acacia. There's a reason why the Meridian things got put up, 7 years ago? And I think taking them down it would be a disaster, especially with the amount of people. I'm out there every night. That's my only concern. If we want to extend it further, I'm for that as well. But I think removing them is a mistake. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Garcia.
Really?
Yeah.
And with that, we are finished.
Oh. All right. Any council comments? Remember, this is an agendized item, so no deliberation.
I think, Darrell, we need to discuss the issue of the signs being, or the decorations being taken down, because I can tell you, I had no idea until my phone started blowing up today, and my emails that was even a thing. So I think we need an explanation.
Yes.
City manager comments,
Yes,
and
yes,
if it
Mayor.
happens again, please continue to call him.
All right, thank you, Mayor. Yes, with regards to the Candy Cane Lane, all those comments, as you stated, we do have an item on staff and we do have a staff presentation under item 11, where a lot of those can be addressed. With regards to the decorations on the poles, we recently also, as staff, received some emails, and I asked the Public Works Director to look into that, so he does have an update on how that took place and what reasons why they were taken down.
Director Sassoon, please.
Thank you, City Manager. Thank you. Hello, Mayor Pro Tem. So basically, there is a manual called Manual on Uniform Traffic Control Devices, which is nationwide. All the states and all the cities in Great America, they have to follow that manual. It is specifically prohibited on this manual that no decoration shall be installed on regulatory signs like stop signs, traffic signal lights, speed limits, signs of that nature. And I just stepped out and confirmed with Public Works staff after comments made by the two ladies that no decoration by any city staff member from any sign other than stop signs were taken down. In other words, if the decoration is on parking sign, we leave it alone. And we have to follow this manual on uniform traffic control devices. And I've got the printout of the page specifically for the decoration. Be glad to share with the ladies. And this is something we have to do because the reason for that is because this manual wants to specify that the driver's attention should be on these signs, on these legal regulatory signs. And any decoration may impede or may create an issue, and that's a big liability for the city. And we are prohibiting from that happening.
Director Sassoon, thank you for your comments. And I think afterward, perhaps we can have a quick moment. No doubt that is exactly what the law says, and your staff is doing exactly what they're supposed to do. And I think we will exactly find a way to fix it afterward.
Yes.
There we go. Ma'am, I've got you. Don't worry. Just trust me. All right. Anything else?
Can I just-
Please, Mayor Pro Tem, go right ahead.
Elias, I think the city is in a better place because of your attention to detail. And I appreciate the work and effort that you do, but I'm gonna ask staff to use a little common sense when it comes to what makes El Segundo special, and just really think about, before these decisions are made, if it's really in the best interest of our little town. But with that, I applaud what you do and your attention to detail, but we really need to, as a city, be a little bit more cognizant of the traditions and what kind of goes on and makes our town special. Of course. Does that make sense?
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. I will entertain a procedural motion to read by title only.
Baldino so moves.
Second.
Drew, a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 4-0. Consent agenda. Does anyone have any polls?
Yeah, I got a question, sorry. Where'd it go? Number 8.
Number 8. Can I have a motion to do items 4 through 7 and 9?
So moved.
Drew on the first, Keldorf on the second. Oh, nope, Pimentel on the second, sorry. And did you have a poll?
No.
Oh, all those in favor?
Aye.
No opposed. Okay, over to item 8, Mayor Pro Tem.
Okay, 8 is just a change order for the HVAC system at the fire station. I have no real problem with it, but procedurally, what I believe what happened was there was a request for bids because the dollar value was below that allows you to do that without an RFP, which is a request for. And the original bid was a like for like. When that bid came in, after the bid came in, it was determined that the like for like was no longer adequate to meet Title 24. And so this change order is basically to upgrade that HVAC unit so that it complies with the new regulations, correct?
Exactly, yes, sir, absolutely.
Okay, all right, I'm just curious, why would we get bids for like to like if that HVAC unit we had was outdated and didn't meet Title 24?
So like to like in terms of weight, in terms of configuration, but this Title 24 requires a different stages. It's a lot more complicated than a regular. When you look at it, it's the same, but it is completely made differently, and frankly, a lot of changes are really naked eye will not be able to distinguish. So it is the same size. The way is the same configuration, but totally is built differently.
Okay, I understand. I just wanted to clarify that.
Yes.
So again, thank you for your attention to detail. I'm glad we got the code compliant unit.
Right.
And with that, I'll move approval of item number 8.
Just for records, I want you to know I went out of my way to contact other HVAC contractors for this unit and made sure that the price is very reasonable.
Yeah, I saw that in the staff report. And again, thank you for your tenacity and your work. With that, I'll move approval of item number 8, which is a change order for the replacement of fire station number 2 HVAC system.
I'll second.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right. I'm going to flip items 11 and 10, just because we have people here for 11. If that makes sense to everyone?
Yes.
Item 11, Candy Cane Lane, 11 and 1200 blocks of East Acacia. Policy recommendations. Director Mancini, you haven't quit. Go forth and do great things.
I'm a glutton for punishment,
That's
what can I
right.
say?
If the power goes out and I flee on foot, you'll know why.
Is it there? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Good evening, Honorable Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, members of the City Council, members of the community. My name's Ali Mancini. I'm the Director of Recreation, Parks, and Library. I believe I've been in contact with several of you over the last few weeks. Hopefully tonight's presentation will answer some questions and we can have a discussion about how we're going to move forward with this topic. So as you all know, the 1200 block of East Acacia Avenue began hosting Candy Cane Lane, an annual holiday lights display, back in 1949. Historically, attendee draw was localized, requiring minimal resources from the city to support the event. However, in recent years, the event has increased significantly in popularity with online regional publications and promotions, a movie, which has led to several unintended impacts, including parking intrusion and scarcity in surrounding residential neighborhoods, traffic congestion, reports of trespassing and littering on private properties, and regulations of food and goods vending. And I will just make a comment that the staff report is quite long. There's a lot of detail. I'm going to be brief in my comments so that we can focus more on the problem solving. However, I did want to point out that in 2024, the city subsidized the event at an estimated cost of $63,300, including police, security, trash and cleaning, portable toilets, code enforcement activities, event planning, and other aspects of the event. If there are additional staffing changes or an increased police presence, as was requested by several community members, if those are recommended by council, these costs will obviously escalate, and if it involves PD, will escalate quite significantly in speaking with the chief. Unfortunately, the residents in the area have a lot of different views of the benefits and impacts of the event, and particularly have significant disagreement about several issues pertaining to Candy Cane Lane, most specifically the street closures and the sales of food and beverages within the event boundaries. In an effort to mitigate some of these challenges, staff have had multiple discussions with residents also, and are asking the council to provide direction on a few specific items as outlined on the next few slides. So we're going to start with the street closure. The street closure recommendations are to close the 1200 block of East Acacia to vehicular traffic and require residents on the 1200 block of East Acacia to have their cars within the barricades by 4:30 p.m. and not allow vehicle traffic until after 10:15 p.m. Historically, it gets dark around this time of year, about 5 o'clock. PD personnel have shown up and Public Works personnel right around 4:30 to get everything in place, because the lights, as it gets dark, residents start turning on their lights right around that time, and we start to see people congregate there. Due to the large crowds on opening night, which this year is Saturday, December 13th, the 11 and 1200 blocks of East Acacia would be closed to vehicular traffic on this night only. Number 3, the 1100 block of East Acacia and the 900 block of California Street would remain open to vehicular traffic except for opening night. Security would be in place to direct pedestrians to stay out of the roadways and on the sidewalks. Number 4, the recommendation is to issue resident-only parking permits to the residents of the 1100 and 1200 blocks of East Acacia. A maximum of 2 permits per household will be issued to vehicles registered at these addresses. Resident-only parking would be from 4:30 p.m. to 10:15 p.m. and would be enforced by ESPD. Additional parking permits will be provided for the residents of 1100 and 1200 blocks of East Acacia to also park on areas we've designated on Imperial Avenue in California. And just as a side note, the police chief, city council, and street superintendent all have the authority to close streets pursuant to El Segundo Municipal Code, section ESMC 9-1-1. And so here is just a map that sort of outlines what I just spoke about on the slide before. It shows where the residential parking permit for the 1200 block of Acacia would be. It also designates the block street where there would only be foot traffic allowed. And then the yellow portion there would be residential parking, permit parking only. So the street would be open, but we would make that parking there for residents only. That would be enforced by El Segundo PD. We would have security out directing people out of the street and to stay on the sidewalks essentially. And then the little barricades show where the recommended barricades are. And then the blue bubbles there, which are a little bit harder to see, the bubbles in the blue square, this area indicates the areas that would be closed to street vending. So it's 300-foot perimeter outside the event. We do have to allow registered street vendors, and this is pursuant to the state of California code. We cannot prohibit them from selling outside that 300-foot mark. And then we also denote here the shuttle drop-off location, which is at Sycamore Park. It picks up at Rec Park, and this year we're adding a second location of the library. So that's to help mitigate some of the parking issues. I don't know, do you want to stop on each one and talk, or should I go through the entire? And
Keep on trucking.
Go through it? Okay. The next item that has been a lively discussion for the last month or so is the food and beverage sales options. So staff initially recommended the prohibition of the sale of all food and beverages, including on private property. And this is due to we've just had complaints last year from residents about the trash and people congregating and you can't walk through, there's lines. But perhaps another option would be to allow the sale of prepackaged and non-potentially hazardous food and beverages in accordance with LA County Health Guidelines on the following nights only: Saturday and Sunday, the 13th and 14th, and Friday and Saturday and Sunday, the 19th, 20th, and 21st, from 5 p.m. to 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. rather, and require that those selling food are responsible for the removal of trash and debris related to their sales each night. I did include the information there about if the council were to decide to do this, where the residents would need to reach out to figure out how to obtain their necessary permits to do that. And then finally, we are recommending that the city make a strong request that all residents turn off their decorative lights at 10 p.m. and that the city council consider adopting an ordinance requiring such for future years. The only way to get people out of the area is to have the lights off.
Did we request them to take an hour off last year, like from 9 to 10?
I don't recall doing that.
No?
No. No.
That died in committee?
Yeah.
Eesh. It's like requesting flossing.
Right. But I will say the security is out at 10:15. The barricades are down. So if the lights are on and there's still people congregating, that presents obviously a safety issue. And I have many of my colleagues here to answer any other questions the council might have.
I might just add, based upon a couple of the questions that have come up, is the soft versus the hard closures and discussions with the police chief. Over the course of the last 5-10 years, we've seen increased number of throughout the country of people, cars driving into crowds. It's a huge concern liability-wise. So the hard closures is clearly a safer way for the people. I mean, putting aside the liability issue, I mean, lots of people are getting injured, which is the primary concern. So that's why that change has been recommended. As far as the 24th and 25th, and I hear what people are saying about the need to have security out there and the roads managed in the same way. The problem is my understanding is we just don't have the staff to do it. So that's what I have to add at this time. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Ghost of Christmas Cheer. All right. Council, are you ready? Oh, here we go. Who wants to start off? You know, the second cheeriest elf. The second cheeriest elf.
Always me. First of all, the residents of Candy Cane Lane, 1200 block, honestly, unfortunately, you're victims of your own success and generosity. You have created an event that quite literally does not exist anywhere else, and everybody wants to be part of it. I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that you literally give everything. It's all at your cost. I've heard a few things today, and one of them was it was told to me that it was a straight fact that the residents of Candy Cane Lane had their electric bill subsidized. Now, I'm quite sure that none of you have that. So again, putting all those lights up, doing all the things that you do, it is from your heart that you do it, and those of us who live here truly appreciate that, so thank you. Now, out of all the comments, first of all, I think we received about 15 or 16 different letters in, emails in. I've read every one of them. Believe it or not, you got some great ideas. Here's the issue, though. Every solution creates a problem somewhere else. So the solution for 1200 block affects 1100 block. As we heard tonight, solution for 1100 block affects 1000 block. And it's a difficult thing. So whatever we decide here, the truth is that no one's going to be happy because there's no one size fits all. The reality is this event has become so big. It's become so popular. The genie is out of the bottle and you can't put it back in. So we kind of have to deal with things the way they are right now and how best to protect the residents, especially of 1200 block, but everyone in that area. And every time we talk about permit parking, and I do believe that we're going to have some, but what it does, it pushes the problem somewhere else. And we've learned that everywhere. So I think maybe the best thing to do right now is, can you go to slide 3 and let's just start with the closures. I don't know who's suggested 4:30, but that's a non-starter. I would assume people have jobs. So are we saying that people got to be in at 4:30 on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday? It's not reasonable to expect that. I think 6 o'clock is probably a more reasonable time frame to expect people to be, in their houses, because, people are gonna start showing up. So I just, my personal, and I don't know how my colleagues feel about that, I think maybe you probably based it off the fact that maybe it gets dark around that time, but that's unreasonable, in my opinion. So I think that's maybe the first thing we got to talk about. I also think you mentioned Saturday night, the 13th. From everyone I've talked to, and I haven't talked to everybody, but my understanding is that Saturday and Sunday on the first two nights, and the following Friday, Saturday, Sunday are by far the busiest times and where most of the problems happen. I think we can look at potentially saying, all right, let's take those 5 days and let's try to maximize what we can do during that time frame as far as resources go. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, maybe it's not, there's not as many people. I don't know if anybody has a count, but it probably drops by half or more. But I think those 5 days, we have to maximize what we're doing there. And if that is, if we say permit parking for the, and residents only on the 1100 and 1200 block, I get it, but it also is going to push things elsewhere. We have to realize that. If you're on Walnut, on the 1100 block of Walnut, you're gonna get all that. But again, there's no one-size-fits-all policy here, so I think we have to try to do things to help at least start cutting into the problem. So I'm there on that. That's all I got on that. Yeah, the parking permit. I'd be for that, but I think we have to consider those 5 nights as a special piece, and then maybe look at the other 4 nights as being able to dial it back a little bit. One of the things that came up in public comment was that we don't throw resources in. This is $63,000 out of the general fund, and only going up. All right, it's a significant amount of money. So I just want to say that each year I think we try to do something new to help it out, and it just seems to kind of create a different fire somewhere else. But we want to try to keep this working. If you go to, so that's there on slide 5, I think is this piece of it here. I'm going to tell you right now, number 2 is what I'm for. I do not believe that we should be taking that ability away from the people who are living in you're paying a lot of money for either rent or mortgage. You're paying a lot of money in expenses. You're out basically 10, 11 days of your life. I do think that maybe doing it half the time rather than all the time is a good compromise. Me personally, I believe number 2 is an acceptable way to at least start cutting into it, and then let's see what happens. Look, if trash is the real problem on that, we're gonna have to see what it looks like every morning. Can we have someone from staff to go there and say, okay, did it actually get cleaned up, or is it still there? Because if we solve that problem, all right, the people that are selling, if you solve that issue, hopefully that takes away some of the angst on that. But it's tough for me to be selectively enforcing certain things depending on the time of year. Because if you're doing it that way, does it spread to Girl Scout cookies and lemonade stands and things like that that people, either like or have a problem with? I understand this is a much different situation. I'm not trying to put the two in the same boat, but I do think that number 2 is a reasonable compromise from what we've had. I don't think it was 2 major things, right? Was there anything else on that?
Just the shutting.
The hard closures. I also think if we really want to solve the problem of people hanging out, loitering the whole time and being there for the night, basically, I think the hard closure at 10 o'clock is a good idea. We may want to look at a hard opening. Does it on opening night? It doesn't go on until 7 o'clock, right? If we got the word out, whether through our own social media or whatever, that hey, Candy Cane Lane, no matter what night of the week, does not start till 7 o'clock. Don't come any earlier. Does that help the situation at all? Or does that just make people queue in line up Imperial and whatever? I don't know exactly, but I do think that we need to start looking at how do we get people to come in here, enjoy it, and then kind of make your way out. So that's what I have so far on this. I don't know if my colleagues are in the agreement or in the opposite, but now it's your turn. I ripped the Band-Aid off.
Further council comments? Councilmember Gilbert.
I don't know if I'm ready to comment yet, but a couple of questions.
Sure.
So permit parking, I think in theory is a great idea, right? That helps the 1100 block who's expressed wanting access to their driveways, understandably. What does that include from a policing standpoint? Because people are going to park there And so how does that work logistically?
I'll invite my colleague up.
And by people, I mean people without parking permits are going to park there, and then that creates a policing. You have to enforce that somehow.
Correct. Good evening, Mayor and Mayor Pro Tem and Council. Happy holidays. It's hard to say because we don't know as we navigate through what this is going to look like. Because we're talking about closures at the 1200 block, closures over the 1100 block, opening up certain streets. We will have staff that are dedicated to deal with traffic and with parking enforcement. So what that looks like, it'll be ticketing, potentially towing of vehicles. It depends again on what we're seeing and what we ultimately come up with tonight. Because at the end of the day, our duty is to keep the community safe, no matter what. And I know there's talk about closures of streets. The mixing of pedestrians with vehicles is a bad problem. We don't want to do that, which is why we've really pushed the hard closures. Last year, we had 2 incidents where people did not listen to an officer, and we had to arrest an individual on the opening night because they didn't listen to an officer's orders, kept going, and were driving unsafely. Another night, the next weekend, a person was waiting, security guard, asked them to wait till an officer got there. They didn't want to wait, and they went on their own. So we're doing everything we can to avoid this from happening again in an incident where a pedestrian gets hit by a vehicle. I know that was beyond the question you asked, but that's our ultimate goal, is to keep people safe.
Great, thank you. And then I think it begets another question. So
Sure.
is there built into the budget that we saw at all additional police presence from previous years?
No, the $20,000 only covers a staffing for the first night, being the opening night, which is a lot of our traffic officers, to help with bringing in Santa, the fire truck, and being on duty for the entire 6 hours. And then the rest of the event only covers minimal staffing for the other 10 nights.
And no third-party security, just
No,
minimal?
they're part of the mix too as well, yes. But not out of the 20,000.
In addition
In
to?
addition, yeah.
And then a question again for Ally on the food and beverage. Is this different, this pre-packaged, is that
Yes.
different than what has been happening
It is.
historically?
Yes.
So no hot chocolate? Or does that count because it comes from a package?
Well, they would have to, I would refer them to the LA County Health Guidelines. It's called cottage food operators. There are permits and things you have to do. It doesn't look like it's super difficult, but it does require some applications and things. I brought copies in the event the council does move that direction. I'm happy to provide it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Can I ask, first, thank you for including all the past council agenda items relating to Candy Cane Lane, so we can kind of see how it evolved. In 2019, the staff report had numbers of how many times a vehicle or a resident asked to go past the barricade into the house.
Mhm.
Do we have those numbers for last year?
I don't know if they count. I'm seeing a no.
Okay. In the prior staff reports, it talked about if we're going to close the roads, we're going to get a petition from over 50% of the residents. Was that done?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, so it seems to me that we went through an experience last year. We've been presented with some anecdotal incidents, examples of things that have gone wrong.
Sure.
But what is this city doing now that we've kind of taken over this event to measure and to reflect and to learn from what did we do last year, what works and what doesn't work? Because at this late stage in the game, it seems a little hard to change the rules at this point. And unless someone can present to me a reason why residents can't be escorted to their homes like they have in previous years, I can't see making such an extreme change without having further public communication or comments or having some numbers. If this really is outrageously expensive, let's track those costs so we know. But our job as a city, first and foremost, is for safety, right? And to meet the needs of the residents who live here. So to put an extra burden on the residents of you can't park in your house, you can't park in your driveway, you're going to park over here and walk at night, that rubs me the wrong way. And to the mayor's comment, I do believe everyone in this room is trying to do the right thing. We're all trying to accommodate and make it work. But this whole Candy Cane Lane issue just reminds me of that famous Reagan quote, you know, the 9 most fearful words are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. I support what the city does, and I believe there are solutions to be had, but I think to try to make changes and say you're gonna have to do this and that at this late point might be counterproductive, because now you've got to communicate that to everyone on Candy Cane Lane, you've got to communicate it to the police department. So when it comes to the closure of the streets, someone explained to me why we can't do what we did last year.
Well, I think the issue is that and I'm the Rec and Park Director, but I think from the conversations we've had with staff, it was the 2 incidents last year, and then speaking with the city attorney's office and the police chief, who really felt like this is a safety issue.
You know, I get it.
This is a safety issue, and I think all the staff are on that same page. Council will support whatever the council wants to do.
Okay, and then when we have these barricades, right, refresh my recollection, how many volunteer police officers do we have?
No volunteers.
There are no volunteers
No,
out there?
no, it's all people who are employed by the El Segundo Police.
So it's cadets?
Cadets,
PSOs, yeah.
A couple officers have worked it.
Okay, and is there a rationale why we don't ask our volunteers to do foot patrols and patrol the
We
area?
could ask, definitely can look into it, yeah.
They do have a
can do
brand new vehicle, right?
Yes, they do, but they're not.
They
gonna
love
drive-
their
They're
car.
not gonna drive around, they're not gonna drive around. We could definitely ask them to do it, for sure. The main issue, again, is we would ask everybody to cooperate with us.
Of
bottom
course.
line. That the community knows our concerns with safety risks, to wait for an officer or for somebody from our staff to guide them in, and then drive safely. Because that
course.
didn't happen on 2 occasions, which immediately raises red flags. Because as has been mentioned, there's been incidents where vehicle incursions have happened and they lead to disasters. I came from a city where it happened in Farmers Market in Santa Monica. I was there that day. I don't want that to happen in this community.
Sure.
Don't want anybody hurt. I don't want to have anybody have to deal with this. So I know it firsthand. So if I'm getting emotional, it's because I was there, and I'm bringing back some
understand.
memories as to what I dealt with and saw. So we don't want that to happen here.
I am in no way discounting your concerns, and I appreciate the efforts you put into
But
your
we
job
can
and
do
your
what we
thoughtfulness.
have to. All I do is ask is for cooperation from our community to make sure they listen to our staff, wait however long it is to get people there, because we may be dealing with other things.
Of course.
That's what
But
we ask.
the idea is these barricades will be manned by somebody
Correct.
who
Yes,
can
sir.
then contact police on an
Yes,
as-needed
sir.
basis.
Yes, sir.
We can have individuals with flashlights and other means to
Yes.
help escort safely
Yes, sir.
and slowly people
Yes,
to their homes.
We could still do that, yeah.
Okay. Okay. I think we need to discuss as council if we need to do anything to calm down the popularity of Candy Cane Lane. And there's not much we can do, but I want to say if we eliminate sales, if we make it a less attractive event, if we short the timing of the lights, is the plan to have Santa there every night or just opening night? Does anyone know? Wait, Mr. Turnbull, I have to ask staff. I mean, you can tell Ally, it's, the public hearing's over. I'm sorry, sir.
Santa comes on multiple nights, yes. And that is something we discussed as well, is that if we want to tame this, we're gonna have to tame it.
In my experience, the longest line are people waiting to meet Santa. And it's great that the volunteers do that, but perhaps there's a conversation to be had of Santa only on opening night and bringing it back on a Wednesday or something, so it's not such a draw. Because people show up, they bring their own snacks, they bring their own foods, and then after 3 hours in a line, issues occur. Again, this is not, I am just throwing out suggestions and having a conversation. I do not want to be in charge of organizing this event. I'm so grateful that other people put this on. My children grew up on Candy Cane Lane. It's been phenomenal. But I do think the city's primary responsibility should be safety. And to the extent that this is going overly popular, what role does the city have in trying to calm this down, either in limiting the time or putting other restrictions on it? But I'm open to hear other people's thoughts.
I mean, hearing is the biggest question, right? It is not a city event, but it is because we have to protect the residents. It is. It is because we're
I mean,
funding
by the
it.
letter of the law,
But-
it is, but it's not, the city at no point sat down and was like, let's put 10,000 people in a cul-de-sac. Like, I
And-
know we have liability for it now, but this
Well, no,
is
I
not
mean,
our creation. It's
In
our
2008
problem, no
no,
dispute.
In
It's
2018, the city decided it would be a.
Councilmember
city event.
Keldorf,
So
please
I guess
continue.
the next part of my question is, if it is a city event, then we can say Santa comes on opening night and no more. But that's not my understanding of what this event has ever been, or should it be. I want no part in eliminating Santa for, 9 nights out of 10. It's the residents of Candy Cane Lane. And I say this, bless you, truly. I'm looking for Rotarian Shannon McGid, who would say it's a mitzvah, what you all are doing. I would never, ever be able to put up with what you have done, and people keep coming. Again, if I lived there, I would probably honestly be lobbying to take a year off to just calm it entirely. But I don't, and the city we cannot say that, correct? I mean, that's not up to us. It's the residents who decide when they turn their lights on, as it should be. So it's not really our place to recommend that.
Well, I think the council can recommend when the lights go on and off. You can't currently require it, no, but you can recommend it. I mean, it's.
But if
the
you
thing
talk
with-
about an ordinance, that's a citywide ordinance.
Right.
Right? I mean, we're telling everybody in El Segundo, your lights are going off at 10, you can't light them till 7. That's a bit extreme.
Again, right. There's
Yeah.
gonna be, no matter, I think somebody said up
We-
here, that
we
no
are-
matter what this
Would be
council
El
does.
Singapore.
there's gonna
We are
be-
asking for cooperation from those who put in the labor of love to make this thing go on, and we are there to assist.
Right.
We are there to help make it safe and make it clean and orderly. So, my thoughts on this, just to lay it out, is I think that residents should be escorted to their homes. I think that if we need to staff more police, then the city make that happen. And then we keep track of the cost that we have incurred. We'll see how many of our city volunteers, our police officer volunteers who do a lot for us, they'll do the home checks and all that stuff. Are they willing to just walk the blocks? They're in communication. They can do a faster response to the police than anyone else can. I think there's a lot of common sense solutions, but again, we're like 10 days out. So the less changes we make, the better off we probably are.
I just want to make sure the council understands, we've been meeting with several residents for months.
Oh, no doubt.
So this isn't, I just want to make sure we
I-
didn't try to spring
I don't mean
anything.
to give short shrift to the time you've put in, or we've all gotten the emails, we've read all the emails,
Mm-hmm.
and thank you for that. But I also think that whatever decision is made here tonight, there's got to be a meeting in February. We've got to have numbers, we've got to have data, just like we saw in these past council reports. How many times did a resident go through, what day of night, and then we can look at, is this working or is this not
Sure.
working? But right now, I feel like we've gotten a lot of historical information, we've got a lot of emails, and the one common theme I've heard is that it's gotten too big and now it's a problem.
Right.
So I think that should be the focus of council, is how can we mitigate and make this safe and enjoyable for everybody, including the people who live there.
Agree.
So do you
I
want to
think
take
it's
it?
reasonable to suspect that the number of vehicles going in and out would be about the same, because there isn't a significant change to the number of dwellings in the area. I think what's certainly changed is the pedestrian load as the event's gotten bigger. I appreciate you saying that people say it's too big. I think that outside of this room, there's a lot of people who put that less delicately. Because it does impose costs in and around, and impose costs on all of us now. And when we add more police presence, who at the fully burdened rate is far in excess of $20,000 if we start putting it overtime, the number of per capita tickets that we'll be buying to this event will be significant. So right now, everyone in El Segundo basically spends $5 on this event, every man, woman, and child. If we start staffing police on Christmas Eve, if we start staffing police at the barricades to do escorts, let's say we triple their load, I mean, you're probably looking at, let's call it $14, $15 per resident to fund this, something that a lot of them may have questions about whether they're going to go. So I think we can bear that in mind. What I would like to do for the name of efficiency is take each one of these things a bit in order. And I'm going to start with the one I suspect we have most consensus on. Is everyone okay with item 2 on the BEV sale, cutting it down to 5 nights?
Yes.
Anyone not okay with that? I should start. Who wants to do something different on food and bev? Or does someone want to outright ban? Does someone want it 10 nights, 7 nights, hot cocoa, cantaloupes? What do you got?
Cheeseburgers.
I will go with the consensus on this.
I don't know if we have consensus. I just used the word. It doesn't mean we agreed. Like it's not really we don't have to move. I mean, it's not an ordinance. We're giving staff direction. We can. He likes 5. What do you have on the left? Tell us. I'm reasonable. I mean, no matter what we do, someone's going to throw something. Like, put in a mouthpiece, put the helmet on, like it's coming.
Yeah, I mean, 5 nights with a serious responsibility on whoever is selling to take the primary responsibility for cleaning it up, for making sure that it is not a nuisance. And that will, I think, inform a considerable amount of what happens the following year.
Selling hot cocoa is a lot more fun than the staff we have to send twice a day to go clean
I
that
have a
street.
suggestion. What if you reevaluate it on Saturday and Sunday? If everything gets done the way it's supposed to get done and everything's cleaned up the way we said it's going to get cleaned up, then you can go do the following weekend. If you find that there's still a mess on Saturday and Sunday, then we're done.
And I think it's not just the mess on that block. I think that's the issue, is they probably.
Yeah, we have trash cans on that block. It's the stuff right in front of the car and on the 10,000 block.
I understand, but they're not serving like foot-long sandwiches here. It's like a cup of hot chocolate. Okay, so I think we have to be, I'm trying to get to a compromise here, all right? So as you can see, you can throw out anything and have a problem somewhere, all right? Anything that we say, there's a reason to say no.
Yep.
Okay, but we got to start getting somewhere on this particular issue. I know it's been a hot button issue. I think I understand your call out, and that's why I say, okay, do you want to reevaluate? Say, hey, if staff says everything's okay as of Saturday and Sunday, everything looks good, okay, finally, do it the next weekend. But I am not for taking this away. That's something that's been going on for at least, I think, the past 6 years, maybe more. But that's me. So I'm a yes I'm a yes on 2.
Is that something that's feasible, that you feel like you have staff to go out there after the first weekend and see how it goes?
Oh, definitely. They'll be out there
They're going to be
every
out there doing
morning.
trash anyway.
Yeah. I'll have them take pictures and make sure everything's,
There's
yeah.
no doubt you'll hear if there are.
Right.
Mayor Pro Tem, what do you think?
I'll go along with 2.
What do you think on 2?
Yeah.
On 2? All right, we have consensus on 2.
Okay.
What's that? Well, it doesn't matter now. I'm
says-
down 3-1. I need 3 votes here. I'm going to Hillary
How do
Clinton
you
this thing.
feel about
I'd vote
that's
for it.
brutal.
Political savvy
Yeah.
thing.
That's
Come on,
right, the
man.
Hillary Clinton move. I
We're
didn't vote
going
for it.
straight to Santa.
We're
That's
going
the
straight.
next item.
Is that even on here?
No, I don't
Yeah,
think that's
Santa's not for that.
That was just
Totally
me
defer.
pining.
Okay,
But I-
so we have days of vending. Now, does anyone want to touch the light piece? Any guidance on asking about turning lights off at a certain time?
So
I mean, again, this is not a staff direction. This would be asking, we would direct you to kindly ask them.
it all depends on what we're trying to, I mean, if we're trying to get people in and out and not hang out till midnight, then one way would be that. So again, my question, I guess, for Mark is, if we say that on the Candy Cane Lane at 10 o'clock it goes out, are we saying the whole city has to go out at 10 o'clock? This is a city event.
If it was an ordinance, yes, but here we would just be asking, this would be a
We're just
courtesy
saying,
ask.
yeah, we're asking kindly, but in the end, it's kind of like the hot chocolate thing. If we said no, hey, you can't do it, and people started doing it, are we going to send our code enforcement out there to write tickets?
We don't have that code
This year, the suggestion is that the residents be asked to turn off their displays at 10 o'clock. And the problem is if they don't, then technically, we shouldn't stop the staffing until people have gone home, because the public safety issue continues to exist. And so until people leave, the public safety problem is there. And so that's why we need the residents to turn off the lights so that people will go home. So it's a
Security and
volunteer
staff can go
request
home.
this year, was
Yeah.
the suggestion.
And because we can't magically move this to the 700 block of Bayonne and have a pass through, it will just.
I did hear
it will just
rumor that
percolate there.
Bayonne was
Elephant
thinking
in the
about
room,
doing
buddy, elephant in the
something.
room. So do we have consensus to ask?
Yes.
Okay. Please ask if we can
And
get
I'm
a 10 o'clock
assuming that
turnoff.
right now staff doesn't leave at 10, they stay a little bit later,
We
right?
stay till 10:15, 10:30.
Right, everyone kind of gets out and then you take the
They
barricades
kind of
down.
wait until people leave because I've told them to.
Right, you kinda
But
have
it
to.
would be great if we could get those lights off
Politely
at 10 o'clock.
request.
That would be fantastic.
Okay.
We can have a giant fake switch that they say they're going to turn the whole thing off. Do we have, is it Chief, do we have enough barricades to do a serpentine on the way in? So instead, if we do a hard closure, we can at least slow the cars down so we mitigate some of the risk of someone doing something horrible with their vehicle before they enter the escorted zone. So a guy shows up going north on Center, we just put 2 barricades, so he's got to make an S-curve so he can't go in at speed?
I'm not a traffic expert, but I do have some in here, but I believe we can make that happen.
Just like an entry control point sort of setup?
Yeah, I'm sure we
So
can do
slow 'em down.
something, you're talking to do something to kind of calm people down and slow them down.
Yeah, just an S-curve on the way
We
in.
can potentially do that, but I don't know how much it's going to affect the other traffic in the area, how big, the streets are pretty small in that area. So we can definitely look into doing something like that. Can I make a promise that 100% it will happen? I don't know right now. I have to ask my traffic experts to see what they think.
Because my theory of law here is it sounds to me as though the council's broadly going to move in a direction of some form of escort.
Yep.
So if we're going to do that, we want it to happen at slow speed. So we want someone to come to a stop while they wait for someone to guide them. And then in theory, there's some form of verification that proves that they live on that block.
Right.
Because then we are greatly reducing the sort of variables on who could drive and at what speed.
You're referring to a kind of serpentine leading to the footprint.
Yeah,
not
somebody comes
actually-
north on Center, and he's got to wind around at 5 miles an hour, and he stops, he waits, we verify he lives in the 1200 block, and then he gets escorted down there.
We
Like he
can-
shows his driver's license, or we give him a sticker or something.
We can take a look at it and review and see what we can come up with.
That would be my sort of implementation theory if we're going to do escorts, but I guess I would ask the council, do we broadly want to allow people to get to their home within certain hours, or do we want a nobody drives in and nobody drives out between certain hours?
I think you have to allow people access to their homes.
Okay, Mayor Pro Tem wants people in. What thinketh thoueth?
Were we thinking, again, I think initially it was a hard closure at 4:30, which is
Right,
not reasonable. I mean, is 6 o'clock more reasonable considering the thing's supposed to start at 7?
Well, you can
Yeah,
put
we
the
can-
barricades up at 6.
Correct.
And now after 6 to 10, that's when you need the escort. So you can kind of plan your life around, like if I get in my garage
I
by-
do believe that is a more reasonable ask.
Right?
Yes,
I think 4:30 is too early as well.
I agree.
I agree.
Again, I know we will work with whatever you tell us, but for us, we are not in a position to say it is okay to mix pedestrians with vehicles. I want to be very clear to say that.
I think we
But-
all agree with you.
Chief, I get it, but we've been doing this
I
for
hear you.
100 years
Yes,
now,
sir.
so I mean, in the end, we gotta.
I know,
We
I
gotta,
know.
so basically, we're saying, just not do it.
No. I think
Yeah, we don't
it's-
agree with having
I think it
10,000
will
people in
make
a
sense,
cul-de-sac.
like
We're
we had
stuck with it.
discussed earlier, is to potentially make it that you allow people into a certain hour, maybe 7 o'clock. It's
What do
really
you
complicated.
mean
'cause
let
again-
in driving?
No, with an escort,
And then at some point have no vehicles at all
Correct, because
between
again,
7 and 9.
again, like I mentioned earlier, we don't know when and if something can happen in our city, and I don't want it to happen here. And that's our ultimate goal, is to keep our community safe. And we've already had instances, as I mentioned, where people weren't listening to us. And that's the problem that we are seeing. Even a sworn officer who was armed with a weapon, person kept going. I don't want to have to respond to a situation where something worse has happened.
Do we know, did that person live on that street? I think they did, right?
I believe so,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Yes.
I was there for that.
And again, but if you tell me, hey, we will do our best to keep it as safe as possible. Serpentine, we'll review whatever we can, like we have in the past. And again, if we can limit the hours, that's better. But if you say, hey, do it like we did last year, we'll work with that too. But again, our recommendation all along has been, if it's a hard closure, it's gotta be a hard closure.
Right now in these recommendations, the 1100 block is open other than opening night, correct?
And I think we talked about potentially doing it the next day too, Sunday. which
Was it that way
Tuesday.
last year?
Last year it was
Was
closed
the-
off all the way.
the whole time?
The whole time, correct, yes.
So would it
With
be,
escorts.
would it be a reasonable compromise to do, again, those big 5 days? I'm asking the chief, thank you very much. Yeah, I get it. You've made it abundantly clear each time you come in. I understand, I'm trying to help and I'm trying to get to a solution. If the answer is no, then the answer is no, but that's why I'm asking him.
That,
Okay.
again, we will do, again, what we can, whatever we can, but it'll makes it much easier, or at least allows me to sleep at night. Because again, I fear that we have an incident no matter if we allow vehicles with pedestrians.
So what you're saying is, last year we blocked it off the whole time, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, he's saying yes, you're saying, do we block it off the whole time or not?
All right, with escorts.
With an escort?
Right.
Right, it was blocked off though, escort only for people who live there. Okay, so I think to Mayor Pro Tem, is there a reason to change that?
Yeah, just because we had
Just 'cause of one-
we had
because of the
two
two
non-responsive
incidents.
drivers, and there's you know, you got a lot of little kids running around, and it's really the escort of a car is one person with a flashlight, right? And that's
Well, I
it's not like a
understand.
ring of
But it's
of
also
protection.
people that are living on those 2 blocks. It's not
That's
like
right.
there's somebody from out of town that's barreling through there. So
No,
that's
it's
why I'm saying,
Christmas cheer is the
I think we have
X
to, especially I'm hoping since there's been so much attention to this right now, and I believe everybody on both blocks are paying attention, that maybe if we want to come to a full solution on this, we're going to have to play nice with just a few of the rules that we're trying to put in place here.
And
So I
again, we
think,
ask for cooperation.
I think that's a
all.
reasonable guideline.
Yes, sir.
To keep it close. Okay.
And again, we're trying to do whatever we can to keep it safe. We understand it's a
appreciate that.
historical event, but I have concerns should we continue to do and allow vehicles with pedestrians.
Further council comments?
So where did this?
So I think we're basically
land?
on do it like last year. Is that kind of where we landed on this? On this piece of it? Is that what I'm hearing?
And the barricades last year started at 4:30?
No, let's say, I don't think it started at 4:30, it started at 6. So we're saying it started at 6, right?
The barricades went up last year, PD at 4:30, 5 o'clock. I'm asking PD, if you can please, is PD still out there? Okay. I think it was 5 o'clock. It was 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock. There's tons of people, yeah, 5 o'clock. 5, sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
They had a question about the time.
What time did the barricades go up last year? Do you recall?
I don't know the exact time, but I'm hearing 5 o'clock. So from multiple people behind me, and my staff is telling me 4:30. So I mean, up to your direction as to what you feel is appropriate. We can staff it at whatever time you want us to staff it.
All right, let's do this in first principles. Are we broadly in favor of escorting people on each night to their homes?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, there we go. So there's it. All right. Are we in favor of a hard closure, no one goes in on opening night?
Well, isn't that how it's traditionally done?
Traditionally been, but I'm just making sure we cover all the wickets. Okay, so that part's easy. All right, what time do we want the barricades to go up? Do we want 5? Do we want 6?
I go 5.
5?
5 it is.
5 votes. Well, we got 2 votes. What do you think, Mayor Pro Tem? Are you going to wait me out on this?
I'm going to make you vote.
Oh,
I know, you literally haven't voted on one thing yet
Of
tonight.
course not. This,
Genius.
this, I'm
He
just,
just
I
holds
was
the
just
gavel.
emailing with Ben Allen. Ooh, shots fired. 5 o'clock it is. Barricades from 5. Barricades from 5 with an escort. Can we do this?
Yes, sir.
Can we make sure the residents on those 2, because we're talking 11 and 1,200 blocks, is that right? 11 and 1,200 blocks, that we're going to check the driver's license to make sure that they live there? Do we suspect we may have anyone who has a driver's license from somewhere else that we need to give
I'm
a
sure
placard to?
You
That
may
will probably
have some
happen.
that have addresses.
Tell them
for-
to bring their
for
gas
us,
bill
yeah.
or something. I don't know. Like,
Ask you just
it's kind of silly.
logistically-
We will do whatever we
Yes.
can to make it a less
Yeah,
burden
if-
for our residents. If they say they live there, they have an ID, we'll find out.
If you give
who-
somebody a
or-
pass, though, they're going to go to Kinko's and make 4 of them.
Yeah,
So we
no,
can't
we're
do
not gonna
that.
ask them to
Like,
do
yeah,
anything
we're going
more
to
than
have.
they have.
And can we keep data like we
We will
did
do-
back
yes.
in 2019?
Yeah, we will ask,
where
our
we've
s-
got averages of 4 cars on a Monday, Thursday, 7 on an evening, Friday. That would be helpful for us, because if
Yeah.
it is a burden, then we've got to make a change.
I don't
right?
think it's that many, but we'll definitely have our staff to broadcast it over the radio. That way we can track it that way. It'll be tracked.
Can I ask this too? We will have a council meeting before Christmas, but after the opening of Candy Cane Lane. Can we throw this guy on there to revisit, so that way if there are problems, and we're seeing a lot of unruly people. I've had sit there with 90 minutes with a lost child once, like some rando, right? And I had some guy in a Raiders shirt try to fight me in front of Santa with a baby in my arms. I'm like, as you can tell, not super thrilled by a lot of things that happen there. So if we're having problems, we could respectfully change a lot of these things.
The Raider shirt. What if it
Yeah,
was-
full.
what if it was a
Charles
cow-
Woodson tried to get it
what if
on
it
in
was
front
a
of Santa with me.
Cowboys
I'm like,
shirt?
come on, man. Anything else? Am I missed anything, Director Mancini? You need anything from us?
Food, parking,
We got
lights.
food, parking, we got lights, we got people walking around. We got
I think we're okay.
And a
Elias
follow-up-
and his rat's
and a
nest
follow-up
of
in
tinsel.
February.
I think the last questions were the nights of the days of the 24th and 25th, where we don't staff it. And if we don't staff it, then the issue is, do we leave, does the city still put out the porta potties and trash cans and all that? Because it troubles me legally that it's still in our event, but we're not doing the most important thing, and that is providing the public safety for it.
But you're saying the 24th and 25th is not part of this event? It's just,
Well, it's only
just the
because, that's
people who-
only because we don't, there's still a lot of people out there, there's still lots of cars
Okay, so
out
you're
there.
pulling the porta potties on the 23rd, right? Or whatever the other,
That's,
morning of
that's the
24th?
intent. That's
We
the
will.
intent.
But again, if there is,
There'll be plenty of pottying.
The barricades and the
I hear
parties
you.
would come out.
So I assume Christmas Eve is probably a heavy night, even though it's not an official night, right? And I think we're gonna have to at least figure out something from a, if that's becoming, if that's still a big time frame, even though it's not part of the event, is how do we work it from a security standpoint, meaning ESPD, like
Well,
to
it's
have
one thing with the
someone there.
PD, we'd have to have the PSOs and all the escorts and all those things out there too.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess we could pull
don't
everything
think-
out and then have police there to just arrest people for peeing?
Or to deter any potential fights that might happen in front of.
Yeah, again, as we've been planning only up until the 23rd, so it'll definitely be a staffing challenge for me. You're asking several individuals to come in when they weren't expecting to come in, but again, I know last year they became an issue, and I think we ended up leaving the barricades off because we got several calls from the folks that live in the residential area there, and we had our staff just do periodic checks throughout those 2 days.
Oh, I assume we're still running patrols on those days. It's just-
Definitely.
Right? It's
Yes,
just
sir.
can't be someone parked there the whole time, but
Correct.
was there a
Yes, sir.
possibility to at least concentrate a little bit more in that area because of
We 100%
the
can do
potential
that.
for it,
Yes.
that's all?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We could do that.
So it sounds like we're saying porta potties leave, barricades go down, but we're asking our police to increase patrols and take a little more work on that.
Yeah, there's
for
a
those
saying, we're
nights.
like 7-Eleven, we never close.
Never close.
We'll do what we can. We'll do what we can to make sure we have
We
staff
rely
out
on you
there.
for a lot.
And we will do what we have to make the event and make our community safe.
Okay, thank you, Chief.
You're welcome.
All right, Director Mancini, anything further?
Sorry,
That's
yes. So then, if we're gonna keep things the way we did last year in terms of the escorting, then we are assuming we do not need to issue any parking permits. We
No.
will not be barricading off. The police will be busy letting people in
No,
and
people
out
are permitted
versus.
to park at their house.
Park at their house. Because I think it would be really difficult for them to do that and over at Imperial, checking the cars and over,
Yeah, we don't have enough,
Okay.
don't have enough people to,
all right. So no resident, just regular,
Well, hold on.
Oh.
If you want to change this, then why wouldn't you run a little pilot program and see if anybody uses it? Right?
What
How do
do
we, I'm saying you can escort in, but also have your parking permits, can't you?
well, it's. I
Those
mean,
who
we
want to
could.
park over there, you're just giving out a permit, and you're saying these streets are permit parking only. I mean, I hate to say it, folks, eventually, most of El Segundo is going to be residential permit parking only. It's coming.
I'm sorry, sir, I missed the question.
It was being presented that the escorting of residents to their homes couldn't coexist with the permit that we were originally planning, where you couldn't park here, but you've got a permit where you can park
Correct,
on this
correct,
street.
yes, yes.
Why can't we do them both? Where if you don't want to go home, you
Oh.
can just park in the parking permit area and then find out, is anyone even using that. Is that a workable idea or not?
But then aren't we displacing people who would normally park in front of their house with people who would live on Acacia? We're just doing the classic parking permit whack-a-mole game.
Well, no, just be all residential.
And a lot of it's by the Embassy Suites there on Imperial, so I think.
I'll leave it to staff. How's that? I'll trust your good judgment.
We trust your judgment. All right, anything further on this now that we've trusted your judgment on the permit parking?
Just thank you to everyone who participated and gave your comments. Like most things we do, it is our goal to do what's best for everyone, but our primary goal is to keep everyone safe. So thank you to the officers for everything you do. Thank you to staff for all the time you put into it, and I wish everyone a great holiday.
You know we have other items.
Yeah,
I mean, that was like a valedictory. Well, we're thanking everybody, like, see you tomorrow night. Like, sorry, buddy, we got an encore.
6:18. I
Sting's
gotta
coming
go.
back to do the,
I gotta go put
do the
my
deep
lights
cuts.
up, buddy.
All right, let's take a 3-minute bio break and be right back, if that works. I think there'll be plenty of those people, trust me.
Get on
All right,
Yelp,
we're back in 3 minutes.
I know which one you're talking about. Just at the 12 location. Where the little funny school type thing is. Yes. Yeah, yeah, got it. Okay.
Since your complaint was
I am.
Madam Clerk, we're going to write the public hearing portion of this, item 10.
Folks, we're gonna get started again. We're gonna.
I'd like to get a quick head count for timing tomorrow and where everybody's going.
We'll get a solution for you, don't worry. Don't worry, we are not going to Grinch this. We'll get a solution for you. Trust me, trust me. All right, the time is now 6:22. We are back in order after I called timeout on us. Okay, Madam Clerk, there's a time and place here fixed for a public meeting. And this will be the public hearing for the second reading and adoption of 2 ordinances amending El Segundo Municipal Code Title 13 to adopt by reference with certain local amendments all relevant parts of the 2025 California Building Standards. Pardon me, Director Sassoon, could you take it to the back for a second so we do the public hearing portion? All relevant parts of the 2025 California Building Codes Code and the 2024 International Property Maintenance Code and 2024 Swimming Pool and Spa Codes and the 2025 Fire Code. City Clerk, was proper notice of the hearing given in a timely manner?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, it was.
Has any written communication been received regarding this public hearing?
No written communication has been received.
The public hearing is now open. Director Allen, will you please make the presentation?
Thank you, Mayor. As Mr. Hensley pointed out 2 weeks ago during the introduction, we do the building code and fire code in reverse order than a typical ordinance. We introduce it and set the public hearing as the second reading. And so as the second reading, I know I went through this presentation 2 weeks ago, but because it's a public hearing, I want to go through it again and give members of the public who chose to tune in for the public hearing because they weren't aware of it for 2 weeks ago's conversation, chance to see the presentation very quickly. But I will go quick because we have seen this already. Before you is the triannual or triennial, every 3 years, code adoption of the building code and fire code. This year, we have several standards that we carry over year for both the building code and fire code. And likely for the first time ever, we have these are the carryover amendments. We have several, and I can go back over that in a minute, but we have several amendments that we are actually striking from the record this year because of either duplication or no longer relevant, or there's other laws and codes now that address these issues that we no longer have to adopt our local standards for the building code. And similarly, because of the redundancy in our codes, the fire code. And so there are about 5 or 6 provisions in the both fire and building code that we are striking because of the redundancy or the unnecessary need to have these provisions that are already covered. But we are carrying over the same carryover amendments that we make from year to year, which is our fees, our local appeal process, the local issues that we have to adopt our own provisions on a local municipal level to establish our fees or our appeal process or our administrative process in implementation of the building code. So without going into too much detail, I open up to questions as well as members of the public to speak on behalf of the matter.
All right, the public hearing is now open for public input. Is there any public input? Seeing none, do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
Baldino so moves.
I'll second.
Keldorf on the second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Council discussion. Anyone have any questions or concerns?
We discussed this last time.
I think we're all set. City Attorney, would you like to read both ordinances and resolutions by title only?
Actually, I think there are going to be 5 altogether.
Can we take those all together, Madam Clerk?
Well, no,
Or
I
do
mean,
we
I have to
do
read
individual-
them.
After he reads them all? Can we take them all? Can we approve them all at the same time?
You know, it'll be
You can
simpler.
if you agree on everything.
You know, I think it'll be simpler if we just vote on each one, because some are ordinances and some are resolutions. And I'll try to do this as quickly as possible, but they are lengthy. An ordinance adopting the 2025 edition of the California Building Code, 2025 California Residential Code, 2025 California Electric Code, 2025 Mechanical Code, 2025 California Plumbing Code, 2025 California Energy Code, 2025 California Historical Building Code, 2025 California Existing Building Code, 2025 California Green Building Standards Code, 2025 California Wildland Urban Interface Code, 2024 International Swimming Pool and Spa Code, 2024 International Property Maintenance Code, with certain appendices and amendments, and amending the El Segundo Municipal Code to reflect such adoption is ready for adoption.
I will move adoption. Who would second?
Second.
Baldino on the second. All those in favor?
Aye. Next is a resolution making express findings and determinations supporting city modifications to the California Building Standards Code because of local climatic, geological, or topographical conditions is ready for adoption.
I will move adoption.
Second.
Giroux on the second. All those in favor?
Aye.
4-0.
Next is an ordinance adopting the 2025 edition of the California Fire Code, Part 9 of Title 24 of the California Code of Regulations, with certain appendices and amendments, and amending the El Segundo Municipal Code to reflect such adoption is ready for adoption.
Pimentel moves adoption.
I'll second.
Keldorf on the second. All those in favor?
Aye.
A resolution making express findings and determinations supporting city modifications to the California Fire Code because of local climatic, geological, or topographical conditions is ready for adoption.
I will move approval,
Second.
or adoption,
Oh.
excuse me. And Giroux on the second. All those in favor?
Aye.
And that is it.
All right. We have adopted. Outstanding. Item 12, side letter agreement between the City of El Segundo and the El Segundo City Employees Association, AFSCME, Local 3519. Director Reddick, the floor is yours.
Mayor, if I can just interject real quick.
You may.
Before we're back on, can I request that we move item 13 to the next council meeting?
You may.
Sure. Okay.
Anyone opposed to the moving anti-camping?
Not at all.
We will anti-camp later in the Christmas season.
Perfect, thank you.
Item 12, the floor is yours.
Great, thank you, Mayor, members of the council. This item pertains to our City Employees Association contract, our memorandum of understanding. We are currently parties to a 4-year contract with this employee group. And with the closure of the contract, approval of the contract, we had a reopener, which is an item that we were going to discuss afterwards. So this reopener is for the standby pay for employees. So standby pay is when an employee signs up voluntarily for a 1-week period to carry a cell phone to respond to emergencies as necessary. They receive currently 2 hours of pay per day. This would increase it to 3 hours. Some of these calls examples would be for water main breaks, irrigation issues in the park, HVAC issues, street closures, down trees. So when employees are on standby duty, they have to refrain from certain activities, be ready to respond promptly to the city. So this item just increases the standby pay from 2 hours per day to 3 hours per day. The fiscal impact for this is about $30,000 per year, but since we're about halfway through our fiscal year, it's $17,500 fiscal impact for the remainder of the year. Have any questions on this item?
Any council questions or comments?
No, we've been briefed on this before, and thank you for bringing this to us. Those who are on standby and provide emergency services should be compensated, so thanks for bringing this.
Thank you.
Would anyone like to make a motion to approve the side letter?
So moved.
Giroux on the first,
I'll second.
Keller for the second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Director Reddick.
While she's standing there and we have the special item we have the special city council meeting tonight with the El Segundo Police Officers Association agreement, you can.
I don't think that is tonight.
It was a special meeting that was set. Did we adjourn that and move it along? Run concurrently, so we're good.
Oh, it's running concurrently?
Right.
Okay.
So it's.
Go right ahead, please.
So we're pleased to bring to the council for approval a successor memorandum of understanding for the Police Officers Association. We have reached a tentative agreement, which was ratified by the POA on Monday, December 1st. This is a 4-year term agreement. The fiscal impact for this is approximately $5.3 million over the term. The fiscal impact, again, because we're about halfway through the year, is $418,000 for the remainder of this fiscal year. There are several provisions in the MOU that are changing, but most notably, there is a restructuring of our retiree medical. So I'll just briefly go over some of the provisions of the MOU.
Are we being asked to deliberate the contract in open session?
No.
You've already.
This was done in closed session.
So this is the public approval of it.
Has there been, was there a closed session meeting on this after they came to an agreement? Did you guys do this the last time when I was out?
Yeah.
Okay, very well. Continue.
Yeah, okay. So it's a 4-year term contract with 16% in cost of living adjustments over the 4-year term. There are also increases in flat dollar amounts for education incentive. So the education incentive for a police officer will range anywhere from $310 to $1,407, and sergeants per month ranges anywhere from $388 to $1,687 per month. Longevity pay increases are also included. It's a flat dollar amount, which represents 4%. So longevity pay for police officers, depending on their years of service, goes from $208 to $11.96 per month, and the sergeant will range from $275 a month to $1575. There are also flat dollar increases to special assignments pay for motor officers, detectives, canines, and other special assignments that are approved by the chief of police. There are increases to bilingual pay, also represented as a flat dollar amount of 4%. And then we have a increase to the field training officer pay from $425 a month to $800 per month. Again, there is a significant restructuring to the retiree medical. So we will no longer be adding to it's called the PIMCA, because we belong to CalPERS Health. We are covered under the Public Employees Medical Hospital Care Act. So the PIMCA amount will remain at $1,800, but instead of increasing the PIMCA, we will be establishing a flex dollar plan for active employees, and so the increases will be in flex dollars. So there are $50 increases per month for all the years of the contract beginning in January of 2026. We are also, because we are freezing the PIMCA for new employees hired with the city after January 1st, we are also going to establish a retiree medical trust under the PORAC plan with contributions also equal to the flex dollar benefits for new employees. And that's to offset them in retirement, because they would not receive the same benefits as someone who had been hired previously. The holiday pay is increasing 120 hours to 130 per year. Police officers and sergeants are paid out holidays because they are required to work holidays. And there is the enforcement of the hard cap of vacation accrual, with an opportunity for employees to buy down their accruals to 60 hours below the cap, and voluntary binding arbitration revision to $10,000 signing bonus, and then tuition reimbursement, a cap of $20,000 per calendar year per employee for tuition. There are some other cleanup items with different legislation that was approved, but I just want to I mention again, section 18.05 of the MOU is the section on retiree medical, and we are clarifying the employees hired. We mean employers hired by the city. So if I was a person in the academy, I'm not in the unit, but I'm already hired by the city, I would fall under the current retiree medical structure. So with that, I'm available for any questions you might have.
Council questions? All right, would anyone like to make a motion?
So moved.
I'll second.
All those in favor? Drew on the second. Keldorf on the first, Drew on the second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, motion passes.
Thank you.
All right, committees, commissions, and boards. I see no presentation. City clerk, report.
Oh, I have one. I'm on the wrong one. I brought a visual. Oh, that's the longest it's ever gone. I would like to remind everybody, please, to contribute an unwrapped toy to the Spark of Love endeavor that is being put on. Okay, that's enough of that. Sorry, it's never done it that long. And the donation box is over at Station 1. I'll never live this down. Thank you. And now I feel silly, but I would like to wish a very happy birthday to my mother-in-law, Ona Marie Truax Billings, who is the best mother-in-law in the world. She is 90, and she's out here from Annapolis, Maryland, and we're on our way to celebrate. So thank you very much for indulging that. That's it.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Councilmember Keldorf.
Just keeping in the holiday spirit, tomorrow, December 4th, is the Festival of Holidays and the tree lighting in Civic Plaza from 3 to 8. Show starts at 4, tree lighting at 5:30. Come on. That's all I got.
Councilmember Giroux.
Real quick, the South Bay COG meeting, it's always a hoot. The biggest thing that was discussed at that meeting was a discussion of forming a housing trust, right? Housing trust in order to look at ways to utilize Measure A funds, the ones that are going to be allocated to these cities. So that is something I think will end up being putting on a future agenda, because the only thing we did was recommend that we consider putting a trust together, because in the end, it has to go to the individual cities in order to agree with it or to buy into it or to decide to go with it. But that should be coming up, I think, probably in January. The reason being is that there's more ways of utilizing the funds through a housing trust than just through the COG. So that was the major thing that took an exorbitant amount of time to decide to recommend something, but that's what we did. You're welcome.
I mean, that thing was like a PTA meeting on steroids. It was amazing.
It was
Mayor Pro Tem.
painful.
Yeah, yesterday, I want to thank Barbara Voss. I want to thank Christina. We had a meeting with the Chamber of Commerce from Slovenia, and there had to be 30 to 35 entrepreneurs representing startups, different development companies who were learning about El Segundo and why, if you're going to do business in California or the United States, it needs to be in El Segundo. It was a nice presentation that was done here. They went and had lunch, but the chamber presented the city with this token of their appreciation, and it is honey with gold in it. And what I've learned in the conversations, they had a lot of questions, but folks from Finland are very focused on the environment. And even though everyone in the room was a business person here to make money, this, as described to me, probably more eloquently than I will be able to summarize, represents that, you know, while the gold is important, if there are no bees and there is no environment, then it's all over. So they kind of bring this idea of a balance between the environment, but also they were very much interested in getting to know our aerospace industries, getting to know our tech industries. So thank you again for our economic development staff for putting it together on short notice, and I do understand that they'll be coming back next year. So, and the menorah lighting is on December 18th at 5:30, so please come out for that as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Nothing else significant, but got a bunch of transportation stuff coming up next week. Lithuanian delegation in town today. British will hear on Friday. I was appointed to the Tax and Revenue Committee for League of Cities. So that will rival your COG trust meeting. With that, yeah, nothing further on that. All right. City Manager, any last reports from you?
Yes, Mayor, just in follow-up to Councilmember Giroux on the establishment of the Housing Trust Fund. Yes, we will be bringing that back either the second meeting in January or the first meeting in February, and I'll have representatives from the COG. It's my understanding that they need 4 cities for it to be established. So obviously there's many cities, and each city manager will be bringing it to their respective councils in the next few months. Quick report on Hyperion. Actually, this is probably one of our better reports in terms of, since our last meeting, AQMD has received only 6 odor complaints. So we're down to 6 single digits at this point, and no notices of violation. On an upbeat note also, we've been informed by the COG that El Segundo will be receiving a gold level achievement award for our 2025 sustainability efforts. There'll be an award ceremony on December 11th, and I will send you the information on that should you wish to attend. I know Elias and myself, and I think the chair of the environmental committee will be attending, so if any of you would like to attend, please let us know. We'll make sure we set that up for you.
December 11th is the AQMD board elections, so we should talk about that to see if we have a preferred candidate.
Okay. Yes. And then also, Hyperion will be performing calibration of their fence line monitoring stations tomorrow. As you know, the calibration ensures that the monitors provide accurate H2S readings. And so by doing that, the data is anticipated to be interrupted between the hours of 7 a.m. and 11 a.m. And then finally, another bit of positive news with Hyperion. They performed very well during the recent rain events from November 13th through the 18th and November 20th through the 21st. During this time, the city of Los Angeles received 2.6 inches of rain and a peak flow rate of about 470 million gallons per day. And Hyperion performed very well during those rainfalls.
Yeah, it's 3 million gallons more than their max capacity. That's pretty impressive.
That concludes my comments. Thank
City
you.
Attorney, anything from you?
Yes, just to clarify, I am very pro-holiday and also very pro protecting people's public health, so just leave with that.
City Manager, one last thing, what do you got?
Yes, one last thing I do, in regards to the two speakers on the wrapping of the poles with decorations, I've spoken with the Public Works there, and I think we have a solution to that, so I will work on that and making sure that that takes place to make Elias happy.
Professionals know the exceptions. Thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
City Manager. All right, and with that, we are adjourned.